couple of significant injuries for the Maple Leafs. A Florida Panther star is returning. That's what's coming up on the News Hockey Podcast News Pack for Tuesday, December the 7th.
Started off as a PG podcast, but then Devin just kept on dropping shits and fucks, and
I'm just trying to figure out what's in her mouth.
I just want to see him interview Francesco Aquilini.
Oh, he's a good human being, is what he would say about himself, I'm sure.
Who's hosting this thing?
Take charge, Kevin, would you? Jesus.
First time we ever met those guys. That was the major drunken pub argument.
I think you guys are the worst.
I'm going to have to probably watch some Canucks hockey, unfortunately.
Just making friends left, right, and center, and probably some enemies as well.
Tell him to shut up. He needs to hear that every once in a while.
Off to a good start.
All right. We are live.
It's okay to talk when it goes live.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hockey Podcast. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at podcast_hockey, facebook.com, the Hockey Podcast, and youtube.com, the Hockey Podcast, where you can like, share, subscribe all of our videos for an opportunity to win tickets to in Calgary for the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. That game is going on in April with the in partnership with the Pig and Duke Pub, as we get you some drinks and you get an opportunity to hang out with Sean, Chris, and Devin at the game. You can talk to Devin about pretty much anything. He's a wonderful human being. Sean, a wonderful human being, and Chris, a wonderful human being. You could trash talk them. You could talk about them with them as well. So keep an eye out. Of course, our word of the week. This week, our word of the week is hope. Of course, we did a podcast last night covering the Vancouver Canucks coaching changes and management changes, as Bruce Boudreau, there it is now trending in Vancouver. So you can check that podcast out. We also did a podcast about the World Junior Camp that's coming up this week. Adam Kurzenblatt and Chris Roy joined me to kind of break that down. So check out for that podcast as well. And we'll also be doing a game recap of the Calgary Flames Carolina Hurricanes game on Thursday. After that game, Devin and I are scheduled to do that. We do some Flame games if they're not too late. Of course, with the Flame Sharks game tonight, that game is 8:30 Mountain. So we just decided it's a little too late for us to do a recap for that, but we will do one for the Flames and the Hurricanes. We are planning to do some Maple Leaf recaps as well throughout the year as well. So we got lots of things going on. So follow, like, subscribe, and share. But we do our daily news pack, and the Toronto Maple Leafs is where we will start actually today, as Mitch Marner has been placed on injured reserve. He was held out of games this week because he got into a collision with Jake Muzzin during practice. He missed a game against Minnesota, and he missed a game against Winnipeg, but he's now been placed on injured reserve, and he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. So as the Leafs hit the road to Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary on their West Coast road trip, Marner will not be there. Also, Rasmus Sandin was placed on injured reserve. Of course, he was victim of Neil Pionk's knee that Pionk has been suspended for. So he's going to be out for a while as well. The Leafs have called up former Canuck Alex Biega, former Medicine Hat Tiger Christian Rubens, and forward Alex Steeves to replace him. Subban has 8 assists in 25 games, and Marner is fourth on the Leafs in scoring 6 goals, 15 assists in 24 games. Malcolm Subban was acquired recently here by the Buffalo Sabres, but he made his debut on Saturday. And made his debut with the Sabres in a 6-2 loss to the Hurricanes. He was acquired from the Blackhawks on Thursday, but he's injured. And of course, Dan, that's causing more problems for the Sabres, as Dustin Tokarski has been in NHL COVID protocol. Craig Anderson has an upper body injury. So Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen could make his first start of the season tonight when the Anaheim Ducks face the Sabres. He is 6-6-0 with a 3.42 goals against average with Rochester of the American Hockey League. Mark Stahl was placed on NHL COVID protocol. He's the third Red Wings player to enter. Already, Danny DeKeyser has left protocol, but is expected to play against Nashville tonight. Tyler Bertuzzi, the only NHL player not vaccinated, is on COVID protocol as well. The Florida Panthers will be with Alexander Barkov. He is expected to make his return tonight. He has missed 8 games since he was injured against the New York Islanders on November the 16th. He has 17 points, 9 goals, and 8 assists in 15 games. So the Panthers will be enjoying to bring him back. The Tampa Bay Lightning have picked up Riley Nash off waivers. There was some talk in Canuck land that the Canucks were looking at acquiring him. The 32-year-old is pointless over 15 games this season with the Jets. So the Lightning have picked him up as a good depth option. As well, the Philadelphia Flyers claimed Kevin Connaughton off waivers. He played 13 games this season with the Florida Panthers. He's also played with Dallas, Columbus, Arizona, Colorado, and the Edmonton native has 27 goals and 50 assists in his career. A couple of other players on waivers. Scott Harrington has been placed on waivers by the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Brendan Perlini has been placed on waivers by the Edmonton Oilers. And just going through the games tonight, we've got Columbus playing Toronto, Tampa Bay and Montreal, the Islanders taking on the Ottawa Senators, Nashville and Detroit, Anaheim, Buffalo, Florida, St. Louis, Carolina playing Winnipeg, the Rangers in Chicago tonight, Minnesota's in Edmonton, and the Flames are in San Jose. And the other issue here is around the St. Louis Blues. Robert Thomas is not going to play tonight. And the Blues are going to play with 10 forwards and 7 defensemen. So they're going to be playing one short tonight. And that is because due to COVID protocols, they are not able to, and their cap situation, they are not able to call anyone up. And it is an issue that I think is becoming more and more of a concern around the NHL. The Blues have been trying to adjust this because they have had COVID issues. Their players are all vaccinated. Again, the only player that is not vaccinated at this point is Tyler Bertuzzi. And so the Blues are looking for some sort of cap relief. And because of NHL call-up rules, you have to be cap compliant. Unfortunately, the Blues are not, but they're looking towards some cap relief. And it is certainly a topic of discussion that I think needs to be happening around the NHL. We have cases of Omicron going on across Canada and the U.S. We have 5 cases at least today that was announced in British Columbia. And as COVID goes through, as we are going with the ups and downs of this, I do think the NHL has to look at situations where they are figuring out what is going on in terms of being adaptable to situations here. I mean, you could argue that, manage your cap better, but we cannot control who's going to be sick and who cannot. So the Blues are in an unfortunate situation. We've had situations like the San Jose Sharks who had to bring up the San Jose Barracuda to play games. It's a bit concerning here when you can't set your proper lineup, and especially as we get into the playoff portion or the intense parts of this season, it's something that has to be looked at, I think, as well as the situation. Pierre LeBrun has tweeted about this as well, looking at situations of not having the emergency backup goaltender, which isn't entertaining for fans. But is it a good situation for teams as they go through this situation? So that is something that has to be looked at, I would imagine, here for the foreseeable future here for the NHL. And the St. Louis Blues are playing one man short tonight because of some of these hindrances. So that's not helping their situation. And as well, just a couple of other things to touch on here in terms of other things going on. We have the U.S. priority and the draft this week, as well as the prospect draft and the Western Hockey League this week. So those are things that we were going to talk about. The U.S. Prospects Draft will be tomorrow at 10 o'clock. The Seattle Thunderbirds will hold the first overall selection in that. And then in terms of order of selection, it's the Thunderbirds that will go first, Lethbridge Hurricanes, Winnipeg Ice, Prince George Cougars, Saskatoon Blades, Swift Current Broncos, Tri-City Americans, Red Deer Rebels, Victoria Royals, Kamloops Blazers, Portland Winterhawks, Regina Pats, Brandon Wheat Kings, Everett Silvertips, Kelowna Rockets, Spokane Chiefs, Edmonton Oil Kings, Vancouver Giants, Calgary Hitmen, Medicine Hat Tigers, Prince Albert Raiders, and then the Moose Jaw Warriors. And then on Thursday, there will be the Prospects Draft at 10 o'clock, and the Spokane Chiefs will get the first pick on that, and we will we'll have some coverage on that situation. We'll talk about that on Thursday. So again, you can follow us on Twitter as well. Oh, one more story. I did not get to this yesterday, but I do think that we have to congratulate Louis Eriksson. Yes, that Louis Eriksson, who a Vancouver Canuck fame. He played his 1,000th game in the NHL last night against the Dallas Stars. I know that he has been much maligned for his career in Vancouver. It didn't go as well as he thought, but he got to 1,000 games, and I think that is something that should be applauded no matter if you like him or not. That is a significant achievement. So we do congratulate Louis Eriksson for that as well. Anyway, reminder, of course, word of the week again this week is hope. Retweet our podcasts and all of our stuff for opportunities to win tickets to the Calgary Flames Vancouver Canucks game in Calgary in April. And of course, follow Sean on Twitter at BeardyCanuck03. Tyler's TNOBLE, Schneids, SCHNEIDZ. That's Chris Schneids. Devin Gordhouse09. I am KEVOLE. Podcast_hockey. Facebook.com, The Hockey Podcast. YouTube.com, The Hockey Podcast. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.